Alright guys, I am back with another deck profile for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days on Nintendo Switch. This time we got version 1 of my Brandt Gate Arkhite monster deck. So version 1 is everything through the second additional card pass, so through D Booster Set 10. And this deck focuses on Arkhite, another unit from the Cray Cross Epic web novel series, and her monster units, and moving those monsters around between your drop zone, order zone, deck, and rearguard circle in order to both gain extra attacks and power up your various units. So as always, we'll be going through the deck and then we'll show it off in one card fight. So starting first with the ride deck, we have our grade 0 starter, which is Short Rest Arkhite. So when she's rode upon, if you win second, draw a card. Same starter skill as always. Next for the grade 1, we have Monster Soul Searching Arkhite. So her auto ability says when this unit is placed by riding from Short Rest Arkhite, you search your deck for up to one research card, reveal it, put into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So if this ability sounds familiar, it's because it's exactly the same as the Eva ride line. Another unit from Cray Cross Epic. So just like Eva, Arkhite uses research, set orders, and this ability does let you search out one of your research orders to get into your hand for free, which we are only running one research order in this deck at a 4 of, which ultimately we do want to get at least 3 copies of that into our order zone. So this card does guarantee that you get at least one that you do want to go ahead and immediately play as soon as you get it into your hand, since it is a grade 1 research order. So guaranteeing you get one of the 3 that you need is very helpful. Next for the grade 2, we have Sleeping Protector Arkhite. So her auto ability says when this unit is placed by riding from Monster Soul Searching Arkhite, search your deck for up to one research card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So again, just like Eva, the grade 2 has the exact same skill as the grade 1, letting you search out another copy of your research order, giving you the second of the 3 that you need. So again, just very helpful for the consistency of the deck. And then lastly for the grade 3, we have Monster Creator Arkhite. So she has 2 auto abilities. First one says when your rearguard with monster and its card name is placed, you can put a card with the same card name as that card from order zone on the bottom of the deck, and that unit gets power plus 10,000 until end of turn. So the research order in this deck, as well as a few of our other skills, allow you to put cards with monster and their name into your order zone. So this ability lets you send those monsters from your order zone to the bottom of the deck to power up any monsters that you call to rearguard. So this ability is not once per turn, and it works on both normal calls and superior calls. So you can potentially use this to power up multiple of your units in one turn. And it also works very well with her second auto ability that says when this unit attacks, if your order zone has a research card, you can counterblast one and activate all of the effects below. So first, if your order zone has 3 or more research cards, you choose up to one of your rearguards with monster and its card name and put it into your order zone. Then you can look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to one unit card with monster and its card name from among them, call it to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. So this ability is a top 7 superior call of any monster that you find there. So it does give you your 4th attack every turn. And if you do manage to get your 3rd research order set up in the order zone, you can send one of your other monsters that you've already attacked with that turn into the order zone. So not only will that open up one of your front row rearguard circles for you to superior call the new unit without having to call over top of something, it also gets another name into your order zone. So if you end up superior calling one with the same name, you can, of course, use Arkhite's first ability to send your monster from the order zone to the bottom and power up the one that you superior called as well. So overall, very cool ability. Now there is a small chance that this could whiff, if you don't find any monsters in the top 7. However, that is pretty unlikely to happen since pretty much every normal unit in the deck, except for one card that we're running at a 2 of, does have monster in its name. So most of the time you should find at least one monster to Superior Call off of this, so you don't have to worry about it whiffing too much. So that is the ride deck. Moving on to the main deck. First off, for the grade 3s, we of course have our 3 additional Persona Ride copies of Monster Creator Arkhite, double frame rare, of course. Next, we have 4 copies of Volcano Monster Gokatera. So he has 2 auto abilities. First one says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you can counterblast 1 to choose one of your opponent's rearguards with grade less than or equal to the number of research cards in your order zone and retire it. So pretty simple retire skill, letting you pick off one of your opponent's rearguards. You should always be able to target at least a grade 2 or lower with this ability, since your ride line guarantees you have at least 2 research orders in your order zone at that point. So just a nice control option for the deck. And then he also has a second auto ability that says when this unit attacks, if your order zone has 3 or more research cards, this unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of that battle. So again, a pretty simple power-up skill. If you get your 3 research cards set up in your order zone, you'll be at an 18k base, 28 if you have Persona Ride, and potentially 38 if you use Arkhite's first ability to power him up when you call him as well. So he should be able to hit pretty good numbers for your offense. So then the only other grade 3 we have is 2 copies of Abent Robust. So this is the one non-monster unit that we are running in the deck. But he has 2 auto abilities. First one says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you can counterblast 1 to search your deck for up to 1 set order and reveal it. And if your order zone has a card with the same card name as that card, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So this ability lets you search out another copy of any set order you already have in play. And like I said, we are only running 1 set order in this deck, so obviously all of our set orders have the same name. So this card can search out that much needed 3rd research order from your deck in order for you to get some of your other skills online. So he effectively is just a 5th and 6th copy of your research order for this deck. So this skill alone pretty much makes him worth running even without the monster name, since it can help make the deck a lot more consistent. But then he also has his auto ability that says when this unit attacks, choose 2 set orders with the same card name from your order zone, and if you chose 2 cards, this unit gets power plus 10,000 until end of that battle. So again, this ability will be online 100% of the time, thanks to your ride line searching out 2 copies of your research order. So he will be at a 23k base, at least, whenever he attacks. So he also makes for a pretty good beat stick on your board as well. So even without the monster name, I think he is worth running at a 2 of. So that's all the grade 3s, moving on to the grade 2s. First off, we have 4 copies of Aux Machine Monster Savoid, I guess. I'm trying my best with these names, people. There's no need for it. But anyway, he's got his activate ability when he's in the order zone that says if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with monster in its card name, you can Soul Blast 2 to call this card to rearguard circle, and this unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. So if you get him set up into your order zone using your research order or any of your other skills, and you need an attacker on your board during your main phase, you can just Soul Blast 2 to Superior Call him directly from the order zone, and power himself up for that turn as well. So that'll be a +1 to your board, and it will also trigger his auto ability that says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if your order zone has 2 or more research cards, choose one of your unit cards without Sentinel from your order zone, and you may put it into hand, and if you put a card, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So this ability lets you grab any of your monsters out of your order zone and get into your hand. Now, it's not a plus since you do have to discard one after you put a card into your hand. But if you discard a different monster, you can of course use your research order to get that monster from your drop back into your order zone. So at that point, you'd just be swapping a monster in your hand with one in your order zone. So this can be very helpful in getting some pieces that you need into your hand. Now, you can't grab Sentinels with this, once we are running the Sentinel with monster in its name. So you can't use this ability to recycle your Perfect Guards, unfortunately. But you can use it to potentially grab a Persona Ride copy from your order zone. So you can recycle those if you Soul Blast those out. Or you can just use it to grab another unit that you want to have on your board, like a booster or whatever. So, very nice ability, and it can be activated, again, off both normal calls and superior calls. So if you call him with his own ability, if you call him with Arkhite's ability during the battle phase, or if you just normal call him from your hand, you can go ahead and use this skill. So, very versatile ability. So then the only other grade 2 we have is 3 copies of Windstorm Monster Cyclogade. So he has auto ability that says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you choose a unit card with monster and its card name from your drop, and you may put it into your order zone. So this is just another way to stock up your order zone with more monsters if somehow the research orders you have in play aren't enough to do so, which honestly most of the time the research orders can get that done on their own. But this is another option to do so. And then he also has his continuous ability when he's on Guardian Circle. That says if your order zone has 2 or more research cards, this unit gets shield plus 5,000. So he's also a 10k shield, as long as you have your 2 research orders set up, so that should be every turn from turn 2 onwards. So it can be a 10k shield from your hand or from intercepting with him as well. So a nice defensive option for the deck as well. So that's all the grade 2s, moving on to the grade 1s. First off, we have 3 copies of Reception Monster Wavy Loss. So his auto ability says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Arkhite in its card name, or a Glitter with Eva in its card name on your Vanguard circle, you can Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. So some dual Arkhite Eva support, obviously with this deck it's for Arkhite, but when you call it, you can Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. So this card does compete with Savoid for soul resources, so you do need to, keep an eye on your soul count and use those abilities accordingly, according to which one you need more at the moment. But it can be a nice draw engine for this deck to get some more card advantage into your hand. And then when he's on your board, he also has a continuous ability that says during your turn, if your order zone has 3 or more research cards, this unit gets power plus 5,000. So again, it'll be a 13k base if you have your 3 research orders set up. So that does help him hit some better numbers, especially if you end up superior calling him off of Arkhite's ability during the battle phase. So he can be a 13k attacker, 13k booster, just a nice unit to fill in any slot on your board that you need him in. So next we have 3 copies of Detonation Monster Bobble Mine. So his auto ability, at the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If your order zone has a set order, you can put this unit into your soul and counter charge 1. So he has a -1, but he does give you 2 resources, turning himself into a soul and giving you a counter charge. Which we do use a lot of soul in this deck, since both Savoid and Wavy Loss are Soul Blast 2. So the soul resource is often a lot more useful than the counter blast resource. But turning 1 card into 2 resources is helpful. And of course, after you Soul Blast him out of your soul and he ends up in your drop, you can use your research orders to get him from drop into order zone to potentially power up another copy of him that you call as well. So just a nice resource engine for the deck. So next up we have our Sentinels. So first off we have 3 copies of Craggy Monster Gurgrand. So this is the Sentinel with Monster in its name, and it's actually not the standard Perfect Guard that we would normally run. This is actually the start deck Perfect Guard, which means that discarding a card in order to use his ability is mandatory, since it's the cost for that ability as opposed to part of the effect. So with normal perfect guards, they could potentially be free if you have one or less card in your hand. But with this one, you actually don't have that option, so he is a mandatory discard every time you play him. So that means if he is the last card in your hand, he is completely useless at that point. But having monster in his name is more important than, being situationally free, since he does interact with our research order, which I'll be going over here in a second. So we are technically running the inferior perfect guard, just for the advantages of the name. But I'll explain more about that in a moment. So then beyond that, our last sentinel is of course our nationless blitz order, Elementaria Sanctitude, which you can play without paying the cost if your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive. So then our last grade 1 is 4 copies of our research set order, Torrential Energy Research. So there's no cost to play this card, and when you do play it, you have its auto ability that says when this card is put into the order zone, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards with monster and their card names from among them, put one of them into your hand, put one of them into your drop, and shuffle your deck. So this is a very nice ability, letting you grab up to 2 monsters out of the top 5, and put one to hand and one to drop. So this is the main reason that we are running the Monster Perfect Guard, since you can grab any monster out of those 5. If you do find a copy of Gurgrand in that, you can potentially add a Perfect Guard to your hand off of this ability. If you want, you could actually forego running Sanctitude entirely for a 4th Gurgrand to make your Perfect Guards even more searchable. But it can potentially grab a Perfect Guard, it can potentially grab a Persona Ride copy, or it can just grab any rearguard monster you would want into your hand as well. And then of course it sets up another monster potentially into your drop zone as well, which you can then use with this card's activate ability when it's in your order zone. That lets you rest this card to choose a card with monster and its card name from your drop and put it into your order zone. So this is the primary way to set up monsters into your order zone. You want as many different names in there as possible for Arkhite's ability to go off as much as possible when you superior call anything off of her ability, or just normal call stuff from your hand. So again, you are guaranteed to have at least 2 copies of this card off of your ride line, so you should be able to always grab at least 2 monsters per turn from your drop into your order zone, assuming you have those in your drop at that point. And potentially more as well if you get your 3rd or 4th copy set up in your order zone too. So this is the only research order being ran in the deck, so obviously it is very vital for the deck to function. It's the one you search out off your ride line, it's the one you need in your order zone for your abilities to go off, and plus its own skills just help the deck flow a lot smoother as well. So obviously a very vital card for this deck. So that's all the grade 1s. Moving on to the grade 0s, we do just have our trigger lineup, which I am just running rainbow triggers in this deck right now. So we got 4 crit, 3 front, 4 draw, 4 heal, and 1 over. So starting first with the crit triggers, we have 4 copies of Star Aggression Dragon. So this is just the vanilla crit. If you want to replace this with the effect crit, you can, but I don't think it makes a huge difference one way or another. Next for the fronts, we have 3 copies of Cardinal Draco in Pyro. So your front with a skill, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, get shield plus 5,000. So you're a 20k shield front trigger. Next for the draws, we have 4 copies of Ameliorate Connector. The draw with a skill, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, get shield plus 5,000. So you're a 10k shield draw trigger. Then next for the heals, we have 4 copies of Alterate Sphere Dragon. So this is just the vanilla heal. Of course, as always, if you want to run any of the effect heals, you can feel free to do so. And then lastly for the over trigger, we have our 1 copy of Star Dragon Deity of Infinitude, Eldo Breath. So his additional effect lets you double the power and critical of all of your front row units until end of turn. So always an extremely dangerous ability, powering up your entire front row to very large numbers and making them all at least a minimum of 2 crit. So that is the deck. So we will go ahead and have our one fight with it. And let's see, we'll fight Masanori this time. And we will be going first. Alright, so we'll discard Savoid to ride. And grade 1 Arkhite will let us add a copy of Torrential Energy Research from our deck to our hand. So we'll go ahead and play it immediately. And we use its skill to check the top 5. And we find 3 monsters, so we can choose 2 of them. So we'll choose Gurgrand and Bubble Mine. So Gurgrand will go to our hand, and Bubble Mine to the drop. So then we can use our Research Order's Activate ability to rest it and add a monster from drop to order zone. So we'll add Savoid. And I think that's all for now, so we'll go ahead and just end our turn. And we'll let that one through. Alright, so we can discard one of these A-Bent Robusts to ride. And grade 2 Arkhite will once again let us search out another copy of our Research Order, which again we want to immediately play. And use its skill to check the top 5. And this time we only find 1 monster actually. So Gokatera will move to our hand. So then we can use our Research Order's Activate ability again to rest it and add Bubble Mine from our drop to order zone, which was actually the only monster we had in there. So with that, I think I will just go ahead and attack. And we get a crit trigger. Oh, but he got a heal trigger, so that nullified that crit, and actually got another roaming prison set up in his drop. So he's going to play Gather Upon Me, You Wandering Souls. So his Vanguard will get Twin Drive this turn. And he can revive Roaming Prison Dragon from his drop. And I think I'll let that one through. And I think I'll guard that one. That'd be 2 to pass. And I'll let that one through. Alright, so now we'll discard Gokatera to ride Monster Creator Arkhite. And we do have another copy of our research order in our hand, so we are going to play it and use its skill to check the top 5, and we find 4 monsters this time. So let's see, we'll choose Cyclogade and that Persona Ride copy. So we'll add Arkhite to our hand, and Cyclogade goes to drop. So we do have our 3 research orders set up now, so all our skills will be online. So I'm going to go ahead and call this A-Bench Robust and use his ability to Counterblast. And we will search out the 4th and final copy of our research order, so we can play that next turn. So then I will go ahead and use our activate ability of our research order to rest it, and we can add Cyclogade to our order zone. And we will do that again. And add Gokatera as well. So we have Savoid, Boble Mine, Cyclogade, and Gokatera in our order zone right now. So I believe next I will go ahead and use Savoid's ability from the order zone, and we will Soul Blast 2 and Superior Call him, and he gains 5k. And we could use his on-call ability to grab a monster from our order zone, but I actually want to keep all those in the order zone for right now, so we're not going to use that at the moment. So instead, we'll go ahead and call Boble Mine behind him. And Arkhite's ability will let us send the Boble Mine in our order zone to the bottom of the deck and give him an extra 10k. So with that, I think we will go ahead and attack with Savoid first, not boosted. And he guards. So then we can attack with Arkhite and use her skill to counterblast one. And since we have our 3 research orders, we can send Savoid to the order zone, and we check the top 7, and we find 3 different monsters. So let's see, I think I will call we'll call Cyclogade and put him over here, and that will trigger Arkhite's ability to let us send the Cyclogade in our order zone to the bottom of the deck. So he gains 10k. And then Cyclogade's ability will let us grab a monster from our drop, which is just our ride deck card. So then we get a heal trigger. So we will go ahead and heal Gokatera, and we will give that power to A-Bench Robust. And we get a draw trigger as well, so we'll give that to Cyclogade. So now we can attack with a bench robust. And his skill will let us choose 2 orders with the same name in our order zone to give him an extra 10k. He gets a draw trigger. So then we can attack with Cyclogade, boosted by Bubble Mine. And he gets another draw trigger. So now Bubble Mine skill will let us put him to Soul and counter charge. So he called Overwhelming Prison to set him back up in his drop. And then he will Alchemagic, Death Inviting Black Magic with Grief, Despair, and Rejection. So he'll get to power up 3 of his units. And then draw 2. And he called Roaming Prison behind Roaming Prison. And he attacked with the one that had less crits. Okay. AI sometimes has retarded moments. So we'll go ahead and let that one through. And we get a draw trigger. So give that power to Arkhite. And let's see, we will guard that one. That's 2 to pass. And he gets a crit trigger. So let's see, we'll guard that with a draw and Bubble Mine, and then we'll intercept with Cyclogade, who will gain an extra 5k. Alright, so now we can Persona Ride. And draw our over trigger. But we can play the last copy of our research order and use that skill to check the top 5. And we find Cyclogade and Bubble Mine. So we'll get Bubble Mine into our hand and Cyclogade to drop. So then we'll go ahead and call Wavy Loss over here and use his ability to Soul Blast 2 and draw. So then we can go ahead and use our activate skill of our research order to rest it and grab Cyclogade. And then we can use that once again with our other copy. And we'll grab Gokatera this time. And then once again with our third copy, we'll add Bubble Mine. And one last time with our fourth copy, we will add Bubble Mine again. So now from our hand, we'll go ahead and call Gokatera and use his ability to Counter Blast. And we can retire one of his rear guards, so we'll get rid of one of those headhunters. And then we can use Arkhite's ability as well to send one of the Goka Terras in our order zone to the bottom of the deck to give him 10k. And then we'll call Bubble Mine from our hand as well and put him behind our Vanguard. And again, Arkhite's ability lets us bottom deck a Bubble Mine from order zone to give him 10k. And I think that's all for now. So we will go ahead and attack with Goka Terra first, not boosted. And we do have our 3 research orders, so his skill will give him an extra 5k. And he lets that one through. So now we can attack with Arkhite, boosted by Bubble Mine. Arkhite skill will let us counter blast again. And we'll move that Goka Terra to order zone. And we check the top 7, and we find only one monster, but we find Savoid. So we'll superior call him. And now Arkhite's ability lets us send the Savoid from our order zone to the bottom of the deck to give him 10k as well. So then I think I will use Savoid's avoid's to grab that Cyclogade from our order zone, and then we'll discard Savoid. So that'll give us a little bit more shield power in our hand as he perfect guards. And we get a heal trigger, which we don't get, but we'll give the power to a bent. And then we can use Bubble Mine's ability to go ahead and shove him to soul. And we can countercharge one. So then we'll attack with a bench Robust, who again will gain 10k by selecting 2 of our same named orders. So then we can attack with Savoid, boosted by Wavy Loss. Oh, and he's got to let it through. And that crit does not help him, so we got him with that one. So there you go, that was my Arkhite deck. I do like this deck quite a bit, especially with the whole, kaiju aesthetic to it. Me being a Toku fan, definitely into that sort of thing. So anyway, I will be back soon with more deck profiles. I believe next up I'll be doing Shoujo Doji. So until then, I guess that's all for this video. So lots of luck to you and yours.